Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in red, we've got Louis MT, playing as the Sengoku daimyo. And up against him today, spawning in on the west, in blue, we've got Give You Anxiety, playing as the French. Welcome everyone to Craters. As always, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And I'm super excited for some Age of Empires 4 action, especially on this new map, on this new biome. Now, Craters, you've got the meteorite here, fast gathering of gold and stone. Wait, wait a minute. What is going on here? We've got a spearman rush from the French, a Dark Age barracks play, which is not something we ever really see very often, if at all. I have seen GUA, to be fair, do it a couple of times. He's a very aggressive player. I'm kind of curious. There's a couple of focal points on this map to maybe challenge. I mean, you could try and challenge the meteorite, but it's usually something that's chosen to go for later on in the game, because obviously you've got your primary gold. But the Sengoku daimyo do go for the yatai. It's a tricky one. I don't really know if it's really that worth it, because the yatai can always come back home. Now, if you guys don't know what the yatai is, well, it is a new aspect of Age of Empires 4. Sengoku daimyo, a new civilization, coming to you guys with the Dynasties of the East DLC. Well, you've got the Matsuri, and this is kind of the heart of the Sengoku daimyo's economy. It's a drop-off building for any resource, but it can also make the yatai. Now, the yatai go on the map for food resources, and doesn't consume the food, but it gathers food depending on what's around it. It starts off as a base gathering of 20 food per minute, and then you add extra depending on what's around it. So if you want to go for a boar, you'll max out at 40, and then the base rate being 20 at 60 food per minute, which is the maximum for the yatai. Now he's doing that even without the boar here, because he's got 7 deer and also plenty of sheep. Now, if you really want, and you don't want to be too aggressive in terms of going out on the map, if you're under pressure, you can just leave your yatai back home and take advantage of the sheep and the berries. It's not obviously, you want to beat out on the boar and the deer if you can, but this is the thing, right? This couple of spearmen, he's already got 2 yatais, so he has to make a decision. It's almost like he has to decide to go for either one of the yatai or even the gold. Either way, I don't know exactly how much damage GUA Give You Anxiety is going to be able to achieve. Now, I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me know what you think, by the way, about the new biome. It's a bit harsh on the eyes, right? Super, super white. But I think we've seen harsher biomes in the past. I love the trees. The trees are looking really, really nice. I guess I kind of have to get my eyes adjusted to this. Hopefully you guys are watching this at night time, although I know some of you guys do actually watch this kind of content before going to bed. It might be a bit tricky on the eyes, actually, having said this, but I have a feeling this game is going to be good. I love the fact that it's the Sengoku daimyo versus the French, because both civilizations can be very strong on cavalry. I mean, I'd say really that Sengoku daimyo can be very flexible, considering the daimyo estate mechanic. They can go for the Hojo clan, the Oda clan, or the Takeda. Now, each one of these obviously focuses on a different unit type, the Hojo being infantry, melee units, the Oda being ranged units, and the Takeda being cavalry. And once you upgrade them to different levels, so you can get a maximum of 3 of the estates for each clan, although overall in the game you can only make 5 daimyo estates. So you can max out on one of them to get to level 3, and the other clan you have to get up to only level 2. And you can only pick between 2 clans, so you will have to forego one. Speaking about foregoing things, looks like Louis MT might be foregoing this forge before too long. He could actually potentially repair it, but probably doesn't want to spend the resources for it, because the town center is in range here. Like, if he keeps a villager here, the spearman can't just go around and attack it, right? So he just doesn't want to waste the time repairing it, I guess. Now, will be the Koka Township, going to give him access to Shinobi. Unfortunately, not going to be coming out quick enough. Maybe that was something he was waiting for as well, because the Shinobi, they're activatable, no cooldown, and they can throw grenades that slow down the movement speed of your enemies, but also cause them to take increased damage. And there they are, the Shinobi out already. Throw their grenades, and you see, yeah, the spearmen moving a lot slower now with the purple hue around them. Probably should be able to still get out of there, though. I've actually been able to get an outpost on the meteorite. This is important because there's going to be plenty of gold. I mean, to be... Okay, fair enough. Well, I guess in this scenario, he doesn't really care about this forge because he's not really going to be using it for now. He's going to go straight for the meteorite gold. The other side of the map, School of Cavalry is the landmark of choice. No real surprises there. Trade is not really a thing on this map because the routes are a bit awkward, right? I mean, to be fair, if you do place a market in the corner, you can get a decent trade route, but it's a bit exposed with the trade routes now being sort of more centralized. There was once upon a time in Age of Empires 4 where actually markets would be in the super duper corner, so you could have like a really safe horizontal trade route. But now they're kind of putting the trade markets, the neutral posts, sort of in the middle section, just to have the trade being denied a little bit at times. He's going for a knight, as you'd expect. I'm kind of curious for this matchup because you've got a couple of options for the Sengoku daimyo. Castle Age mounted samurai can be pretty strong. They don't get the deflective armor as standard that the Japanese do. They have to get to the Takeda clan 3 in order to achieve that. In fact, whenever you get to a clan of level 3, whatever unit that clan is about, they get the deflective armor. So it's pretty cool because if you get the Oda clan, then you know the Uzutsu, the Tanegashima Ashigaru, they all get deflective armor if you're at level 3. I was going to go for the Yumi Ashigaru to counter the Spearman, which was the early show there for the French. He did actually go for the Takeda Daimyo estate, so expecting to see the Daimyo hero unit, as well as cavalry before too long, although not really got stable just yet. Now the Daimyo, this is such a strong unit. It's kind of like a knight really, to be honest, but it increases the attack speed of nearby allied units quite significantly. In fact, to give you the specifics, I believe it's 10% and then 20... Wait, it's, let me double check that actually. Once it pops out, we'll have a look at it. But I understand that at the Imperial Age, it's 20% increased attack speed. And what goes kind of crazy is that in the Imperial Age, if you go up with a specific landmark, you can increase it to an absolutely whopping 40%. Imagine mounted samurai with the deflective armor with Adachi, which gives it an additional 4 damage for infantry, plus an increased attack speed of 40%. It's actually kind of crazy. The daimyo does have a deflective armor shield himself, so it's now being pushed away. And the outpost keeping the villagers safe and secure for now, the French being super aggressive, which is not something unheard of course. The Yumi Ashigaru picking off a couple of spearmen. It means the knight probably does need to run out of there really for GUA. Can't hang about for too long. Yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying the content and the new civilizations. Let me know in the comment section below, by the way, what's your favorite one so far? I feel like the Sengoku daimyo are perhaps one of the more complicated ones, but I think they're incredibly strong. I really do, because they've got so much sort of options to them. You got the estates that you can upgrade those options with, depending on your route. And they've got some pretty cool units. You know, you got the Yumi Ashigaru with increased movement speed in the Feudal Age. You got the Shinobi added into the mix. You got Mounted Samurai still with them. You got Tanegashima Ashigaru, a new unit for them. You've even got the early Uzutsu. And you've even, by the way, you got Samurai. You got the Naginata Samurai. And what's really cool, potentially against the French, is the Kanabo Samurai. It's a unit that has a really quite low base damage. But the way it works, it deals 6% of the enemy's HP and damage as well. So the high HP units you go up against, I mean, it's really what the Kanabo are all about. You can imagine them going up against elephants or knights. You know, it's a pretty cool unit. I wonder if we will see them today. I'm kind of hoping so. See how they work out. Villagers on deer going to get harassed. Now, probably should get one village kill out of this. Although we're going to focus on the knights first, and that knight is very weak. Going to try and get the grenades on them from the shinobi. And this is the crazy thing, right? Because now this cavalry can't really run away. Like usually they would be able to, but with the shinobi involved, not so much. Not to mention, by the way, the Takeda clan, the reason why you can go for this is you do have an ability to increase the movement speed of your cavalry by 10%. It doesn't sound like a lot, 10%, but it's not about the overall number. It's just the fact that with that, it's going to give you increased movement speed that you can basically outrun your enemy, which at the moment, Louis MT is trying to do here. He's trying to get out of here. Shinobis get summoned in from the stealth forest, buys them some time. Perfect usage of this because, you know, these units are free. Just is on a cooldown. It allows the daimyo to escape. And that's a pretty big deal, actually, because it's a hero unit. You paid for it. It's now got 2 of them, though. Ooh, second town center coming out for GUA. It's going to be cranking out those villagers. Wait, this is the 3rd town center. Holy smokes, behind all of this. Gone for a 2nd town center on the deer camp. It's gone for a 3rd one on the other deer as well for plenty of food, which makes a lot of sense. The French town centers, by the way, work faster than a regular town center, so it's going to need plenty of food. Makes sense for the town centers to be on food. 2nd outpost in place. GUA behind all this has actually got a good chunk of units that is being aggressive with and forcing Louis to stay at home, allowing him to get the boom behind this. But all behind this, the Sengoku daimyo going to go to the Castle Age with the sake brewery. A really powerful landmark, by the way. I really like it because it's a landmark which it fits so well to the Castle Age. When you get to the Castle Age, you want food and gold often because you want your heavily armored units, and you're getting food from the Matsuri and the Yatai, and you're getting gold now from the sake brewery. The villagers work the mats and passively get it. By the way, the sake brewery is affected by the influence of the Matsuri. So the Matsuri at the moment has got an additional gather rate of 15%. That is really good at this stage. It's not just the food, by the way, it's everything. Oh, he suffers a bit of a loss. That's a big pick off by GUA. That would have increased the gather rate by an additional 5%. But now he's going to have to get out of that a little bit later and just wait for it, to be honest. So yeah, affects the gather rate of all the resources being gathered in the influence. And it's got quite a big radius as well. We don't quite see it because of the player focuses on GUA, and I don't want to switch it over because when I do, it's going to glitch out the overlay system. He's going to lose the knights behind all of this. Whether it was worth it to dive in like this, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, he did snipe the Yatai trader, and that is a big deal. Fascinating opening. Now, GUA is going to be up to the Castle Age himself. It's crazy how he's afforded all of this, right? It's actually kind of crazy. A lot of it's come down to the fact he's been on deer camp. Whereas Louis MT hasn't really. He's been mostly taking sheep. He is on the deer camp now. He's been to, wait, what is what? What is up with this? This is kind of strange. What is Louis up to? Is he thinking of... I don't know what this is about. Is he just trying to stop walls happening preemptively this super early? Which doesn't really make any sense because GUA could just draw the walls behind it. Maybe for vision, I guess? Could be. Oh, no way. No way. No way. It can't be. Surely this shinobi can't spawn onto palisade walls, can they? That's something we've got to test out. Guys, let me know in the comment section below if anyone's done it before. I mean, I'll keep an eye out if Louis does that. If he spawns this shinobi on the palisades or not. It's absolutely wild if that's the case. Maybe it is. And the crazy thing is he's putting it on the resources as well. So if a GUA sends his villagers there, it could be attacked. Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. That's bonkers if it's... I can't imagine, but maybe. It's something that we often learn with new civilizations. These little tips and tricks. The shinobi spawned in the stealth forest this time. And Iki Monk is out and about, picking up some of those valuable relics here for the Sengoku daimyo. Looks like GUA going to hang out on the gold. We slow down the movement speed. It does slow it down quite a lot, I've got to say. Now, Louis got a lot of army. That's because he's able to spend most of the food into units, whereas obviously GUA is scaling his economy. They've got a heavy villager lead as well at the moment. But don't let it fool you too much, because the gather rate here is still 15% on all of these villagers. Obviously, this would certainly want to have the villager count that GUA has. But behind all of this, Louis MT's picking up all the relics, and actually long term, that is the better deal. I think, sometimes it can be a bit alarming to fall behind a villager count, which you won't really know about if you're playing the game. Obviously, we've got 20/20 vision. But if you're picking up relics, that helps not just for now to bridge the gap, but also in the late game when gold starts to become a very precious resource. This relic's probably his as well, so... In fact, where are the other relics? There's one up in the north here, which GUA is looking after. But other than that, this one here, going to be picked up by the Iki Monk. Means it should be a 4 relic game here for Louis. Maybe even a 5th one if he can just, you know, secure this one on the north. But it could be a little bit tricky considering the units waiting for him. Oh, look at that lumber camp. Okay, so they can spawn the shinobi from the lumber camp at least. Cause a bit of raiding. Now, how much damage do these guys actually do? Well, nothing really. 7 siege damage. Does that? What will the grenades do? Okay, that definitely does damage, obviously. That's going to be so annoying. He actually kills 2 villagers. This is not too bad. Solid. Killed a 3rd one as well. What a crazy strategy. Louis really putting the ninja in the name of the shinobi. Well, is that disrespectful? I mean, shinobi are a type of ninja, right? This could be really bad, but... we'll just pretend we didn't have this conversation. I'm going to have to look it up later. A massive group in the middle. Going to go for the sacred sites. And I keep down the south here for GUA. Protecting the 8,000 gold vein tile. Pretty important to do. There are 2 of them on the map. This super favors GUA. How is that even fair? I mean, well, to be fair, it's kind of in the middle. Just on the left of the middle. Something that Louis, unfortunately, is going to have to think about later. Maybe he's going to secure the one in the middle for himself. He's got plenty of stone to do so, but the thing about Sengoku Daimyo is they don't get castles in the Castle Age, would you believe? They have to wait for the Imperial Age, which is actually going to be coming in pretty soon. A decent chunk of farms coming on in. Now, that relic's still there. Not for long, though. Iki Monk. Going to be a 5 relic game here for Louis. And this is the thing. He's gone for the sword hunt statue. This is the landmark we were talking about, by the way. Increasing the attack speed of the daimyo for the allied units to 40%. It is absolutely bonkers. And let's take a look at the daimyo, by the way, as well. Ooh, we'll take a look. Oh, going to be a couple of villagers kills here, for sure. Surely. Surely. I mean, he's caused a lot of damage anyway, at least. That doesn't actually manage to kill villager, though. Surprising. Yeah, but daimyo-wise, he is level 3 on the Takeda, level 2 on the Oda. So that means new samurai. Yeah, he's got deflective armor on some of the new mounted samurai. It doesn't automatically apply on the samurai that's already there, only on the mounted ones that are being produced new after level 3 has been reached. But now, with the sword hunt statue, the daimyo, of which he has 5 now, by the way, is going to be increasing the attack speed of the mounted samurai. It's absolutely bonkers. Got 27 damage. And what if he's actually got the Adachi given the +4? He's got... Yeah, he has, actually. The upgrades are phenomenal here. Yeah, +4 versus infantry. So even if you go crossbowmen and spearmen, you're probably going to struggle as the French. This is the question I had for a long time, actually. When you look at the game on paper, fast Imperial from the Sengoku Daimyo, I genuinely don't think it's such a bad strategy. Like, look at GUA's economy. It's got double the number of villagers. Let's take a look at his income. I mean, it's not that crazy. It's, well, to be fair, it's a good chunk extra, right? He's got a lot of wood and gold coming on in. Probably looking to get some farms before too long. The food is struggling, though. And that's the thing, when you go for this kind of scaling of your economy, 3 French town centres, it's going to take you time to get some, you know, good numbers of units out. Or at least get the upgrades for the Imperial Age. He can't take this fight. He's going to have to. He's going to get surrounded. And this is because of the increased movement speed for the Sengoku Daimyo. 1.79 tiles per second versus the 1.62. Not to mention, by the way, the shinobi slowing things down is going to pick off a lot of knights. This is great work for the Sengoku Daimyo, picking off units for free. Forget the villager lead, because Louis, he's got the military lead, and it's by far. Not to mention the fact that the 5 relics, 2 sacred sites, it's going to be pretty hefty in terms of gold income. But looks like GUA will be going to the Imperial Age himself. Must be the Red Palace. It's just always the landmark of choice, really. Imagine that's got to be somewhere here, considering the farm economy coming up. Any moment now. Just needs a little bit of extra food, and he'll be on his way. By the way, the Red Palace is a very, very nice landmark for them. Very defensive. because it actually gives each town centre an additional arbalest emplacement, as well as the keeps, of course, but the town centres are particularly useful to have it on. Now, elite mounted samurai and undermesh coming on in. The blacksmith tech's coming in for sengoku daimyo. That means it's going to be able to dive underneath the town centres pretty niftily and easily. Stonewall's coming up for GU8. He is on defensive mode for sure. Perhaps just trying to wait for his economy to really come online. He's got some archers, which these guys are pretty much useless at the stage. We've got arbaletiers though. Those guys, we'll see how they do against the mounted samurai. The thing is, you've got to stay away from them because the additional +4 damage versus infantry is a powerful one. 297 HP, 34 base damage. It's a pretty big deal. Just 2 swipes of the sword from one of these knights would kill one of these arbalests, most likely, or near enough. He's diving on in with the mounted samurai right up at the town centre, burning some farms, killing some villagers. This could be a massacre. 28 villagers killed so far. That number's probably going to be climbing because there's no response here for GUA in terms of, well, credible response. It doesn't have the army units. I love the fact that GUA, or Louis rather, just sending one mounted samurai to the corners of the base so they get so much value. And the Imperial Age comes on in, so the keeps now do have an arbalest emplacement. That will certainly help. But there's no units here. They're in the middle of the map, I think. It took time to come back. There they are. They are back now, but is it too little too late? Because he's lost 49 villagers in total. This is absolutely immense. GU8 struggling so badly. He's hemorrhaging villagers. And bear in mind, the second town centre was added in for Louis. So it's going to start climbing that villager count. Trying to get their block in. At this point, I think the Louis MT, he just torches one down, right? One segment, and he'd be absolutely fine. Could go for the gate. In fact, he just goes for the villagers. Forget it. The question is, I mean, is Louis MT trapped in there, or is it actually GUA who's trapped in with Louis now? That's the question. I mean, the crossbows will take care of this mass, but look how many villagers he's killed. 78 in total. This is worth it. Even if Louis MT loses the cavalry mass, which he won't, he'll be able to run around. It would be worth it. He's killed. He's only lost one villager here, Louis. He's killed 78. And that's the power of these elite mounted samurai. I think he's turn around and fight here because you can't really escape. They're taking a good trade anyway. But the big thing is that, well, how does GUA break from this? How does he ever get out of his base? If ever. I don't know if he can. Just got to torch things down whilst he can. He could actually torch all these farms down. GUA's got plenty of wood though, so he'll be fine. But GUA, he's already got veterancy on the knights. Arbaletier still on the castle age form. He's struggling for food. This raid came at the worst possible. Oh my god, this is going to be devastating. GUA is losing so many villagers. Up to 86 lost now, 87. Guess what? There's another bash here anyway with the trebuchets too. When it comes down to, it's crazy, right? How in this match we've had one player with a crazy economy, the other player with a crazy military, and ultimately it is military that wins games, and the momentum certainly with Louis. Just wonder. But there is something that GUA can do to stem this tide. Place the Red Palace in the middle, by the way, to protect the 8,000 gold vein tile. A big chunk of the mounted samurai, well, 5 of them at least, managed to get away. Red Palace probably won't be here for too much longer because that is being sieged down. Whew, what a crazy game of Age of Empires 4. Down goes the Red Palace. GUA has got to find some solution to this. I don't know what unit you go for. I mean, you potentially could go... I think you have to go crossbowman spearman, right? Like going knights yourself probably isn't the option. I mean, there's no option for it now anyway. He's hard committed to the arbaletier line. And these are now elite arbaletier. He needs those university upgrades. They are coming in now. Crossbow stirrups, as well as balanced projectiles. Incendiary arrows could be quite nice to have as well. But look at the other side of things. Sengoku daimyo getting improved Yari, increasing the anti-cavalry damage. I don't know if he's going to be mixing that in. I mean, I don't see a situation where he kind of needs to, right? He's got plenty of gold income. He's got 5 relics and one of the sacred sites as well. Gonna get a castle in the middle to protect the gold, and he's got plenty of gold access too. Yeah, he's got gold for days, whereas Jiwei, not so much. Now, he does have the guild hall. He can always press the magic button and cash that in. But it's like not a one and done, but, you know, it takes time to get there. It is on gold as well. 37 mounted samurai with deflective armor, with the daimyo, which increases the attack speed by 40%, plus the adachi, which is the +4 versus infantry. This cavalry unit is absolutely mental. Outpost Forge. Yeah, he's queuing up in the middle, getting things ready with plenty of 4 trebuchets is like a perfect number. Going to stop the rewalling as well. And this is a big, big death push from the Sengoku daimyo. He has actually added some elite Yari cavalry, which I kind of like. It's great for obviously crossbowmen. They kind of do pretty well for them. They'll trade better than at least elite mounted samurai. But the trouble is, at this stage of the game, when you're going for kind of population efficiency, there's no doubt about it in my mind that the cavalry here, the daimyo, the elite mounted samurai, are incredibly much more population efficient than these arbaletriers. Shinobi coming down the southeast. Again, just harassing the farms. Looks like Louis MT starting to group up together though. Now the good thing for Jiwei, whilst he did lose a lot of villagers, almost 100, he can reboom because of course he's got 3 town centres and they're French town centres. But the big thing is that the food cost involved is pretty heavy. Because of that, he's not even been able to afford, to be fair, it's more of the gold issue for him. He's not been able to afford the elite upgrade to his knights. Well, he's only got 2, but so probably isn't really thinking about it. Yeah, he's certainly going for the infantry combination, the crossbowman, and I mean, the thing is, there's no spearman here. What's going on? He needs a meat shield in front. It's tricky though, right? Because, you know, he really just wants to get maybe kiting involved. That's why he's going full crossbows. He's going to get the elite upgrade for his knights. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this. He's only got a handful of them and it's going to take time to get more. To be fair, if he's got production buildings which he can afford, he should be able to make them pretty quickly. He does have the keeps influencing the production buildings to make the cost significantly cheaper. Good 20%. And Trebuchet took down 1 town centre. So if Jiwei does continue to lose villagers, it's going to be incredibly hard to bring them back. Here are the Yari cavalry. Round on the back on the farms. Louis MT denying the food. Well, yeah, now he is. Crossbows, archers chasing, but then that potentially gives a window for the cavalry to ride in front. That's exactly what Louis MT does. Look at the play. Drags the army one way with a small force. And the rest of his army goes in the middle. And might just sandwich this army from both sides. And that could be devastating. He's charging in here. Could potentially be a final battle. It looks like it potentially. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. On the hill. I mean, you go, right? Sengoku daimyo, that 200 population. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just charge on in. Surely we can get cinematic approach. No, I can't. That's not looking too good. There's a bit of an overlay still there. Either way, we're going to zoom on in. Cavalry is going to dive on in. Only 3 elite knights for the French. That is not enough. The Sengoku daimyo charge on in. Arbaletriers do have the incendiary arrows, but there's no meat shield in front of them. And he's suffering. He's going to lose this fight in a big way. Right on top of the hill. There's even a bit of a raid there. Oh, that's going to be devastating. Lose a couple of villagers. I mean, that'll be taken care of in the end, but this probably won't. The high HP of this cavalry decimating Jiwei's army, and there's going to be nothing of his armies left here. Jiwei struggling. The cavalry just way too powerful. Even fighting underneath the keep, it just doesn't matter. Louis MT actually making a big switch to elite Yari cavalry because he just saw complete arbaletrier, right? So it makes a lot of sense. No need to spend your gold. Save it for a rainy day, but he may not even need to see that rainy day because Jiwei, he's down to 17 military, 3 sacred sites in play, and surely there's no way back for Jiwei. He's got plenty of resources in the bank, but he needs an army force together, compiled. Otherwise, trickling in units, they're just going to keep dying. And it's just an absolute flood there for Louis MT. Right into his base, and he can just queue things up in his base now. And there it is, GG gets called. A cracking game of Age of Empires 4. Started off with a Dark Age rush, and then everything went crazy for the French boom, but it never really managed to get on top of the situation. The cavalry play, though, for the Sengoku daimyo looks incredibly strong. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Take care, and see you next time.